Hi guys and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Laetitia Casta. She is a French supermodel and actress born on 11th of May 1978. Casta became a guest girl in 1993 and gained further recognition as a Victoria's Secret angel from 1998 to 2000 and as a spokesperson for cosmetics company L'Oreal. She has appeared on over 250 covers of such popular magazines such as Cosmopolitan, Vogue, Rolling Stone, Elle, and Glamour, and has walked runways for designers such as Yves Saint Laurent, Jean Paul Gaultier, Chanel, Dior, Dolce & Gabbana, Paco Rabanne, Kenzo, Louis Vuitton, Christian Lacroix, Robert Cavalli, Jacques, Ralph Lauren, and Vivienne Westwood. Casta became an actress appearing in such films as Gainsborough, A Heroic Life in 2010, in which she portrayed sex symbol Brigitte Bardot, Face in 2019, and The Blue Bicycle in the 2000s, as well as the play Ondine at the Theatre Antoine. Laetitia Casta was born in Port-au-de-Mer, Normandy. Her mother, Lynn Blaine, is from Normandy and her father, Dominique Casta, is from Corsica. Casta has an older brother, Jean-Baptiste, and a younger sister, Marie-Anne. She spent her childhood in Normandy and Corsica. Casta's modeling career reportedly began when she was discovered by the photographer Frédéric Cressoix during a family holiday in her father's native Corsica at the age of 15. After her unexpected registration by GD, Casta was elected Miss Lumio 93. Casta has been the L'Oréal Paris brand ambassador since 1998. She has been featured in Pantene, Guess, Tommy Hilfiger, Valentino, Givenchy, Ralph Lauren, Cacharel, Lolita Lempisca, Chanel, Dolce & Gabbana, Nina Ricci, Swarovski, Yves Saint Laurent, Louis Vuitton, Roberto Cavalli, and many others. She has appeared on more than 250 magazine covers including Harper Bazaar, Elle, Marie Claire, Glamour, Cosmopolitan, Vanity Fair, ID, Rolling Stone, and Vogue, both Paris, Spain, Germany, Russia, and Turkey. Casta was the last muse of fashion designer Yves Saint Laurent. Serving as the bride in his fashion show from 1998 to 2001. She walked down the annual Victoria's Secret fashion show in 1997, 1998, 99, and 2000s. She was one of the company's signature Victoria's Secret angels from 1998 to 2000s. She claims that her career with Victoria's Secret ended because she was too much of a rebel. She also appeared in Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue 3 consecutive times, as well as the Pirelli calendar in 1999 by Herb Ritts, 2000 by Annie Leibovitz, and 2019 by Albert Watson. She is the face of fragrances, Chanel's Allure, Givenchy's Forbidden Flower, Lolita Lempisca Lolita, Cacharel's Promise, Bulgari BLV Second, Ralph Lauren's Notorious, Yves Saint Laurent's Baby Doll, and Paris, and Nina Ricci L'Extase, as well as Dolce & Gabbana's Pour Femme. The Parisians could follow her adventures in the Galeries Lafayette by Jean-Paul Gaultier. For Christmas 2011, Peter Lindbergh shot True Love, the very thought of Casta at the summit of Manhattan and between the snowy lines of marble of the New York Public Library for Tiffany & Co. On the 10th of March 2010 in Paris, she opened the Louis Vuitton Fall-Winter 2010 fashion show. On the 27th September 2010, she closed the Roberto Cavalli Spring-Summer 2011 fashion show in Milan. On 18th of January 2020, in Paris, she opened Jacquemus Fall-Winter fashion show. And in the same year, Casta appeared in the Fall-Winter ad campaign for Yves Saint Laurent. She was ranked as an industry icon by Models.com and is currently ranked as a new supermodel. Her first role was as Falbala in Asterix and Obelix, Take on Caesar, directed by Claude Zidi, a live-action adaptation of the comic book Asterix in which Obelix, portrayed by Gerard Depardieu, plays Casta's love interest. Casta appeared in Les Âmes Fortes, directed by Raoul Rousse. Her performance as Brigitte Bardot in the movie Gainsborough Vie Heroique earned her a Caesar Award nomination. Casta served as a jury member at the 69th Venice International Film Festival in 2012. In 1999, Casta was ranked first in a national survey ordered by the French Mayors Association to decide who should be the new model for the buste of Marianne, an allegorical symbol of the French Republic, which stands inside every French town hall. Casta became the focus of a controversy when, after being selected to be Marianne, newspapers in Britain and France reported that she has relocated to London, where taxes on high earners are lower. Casta's father said she went to London for professional reasons. On the TV show, she also said that she rented a flat in London to be near her boyfriend. The French Minister of the Interior spoke about Casta on the radio, comparing the advantages of living in France with regard to the drawbacks of London after political opponents used Casta's relocation to London as an opportunity to criticize the government. On 6th of April 2008, Casta demonstrated in a white march of non-violent protest to ask for the immediate release of Ingrid Betancourt, presidential candidate kidnapped since 2002 by the FARC. On 30th of April 2002, she attended the demonstration Viva La République after the first round election of the 2002 presidential election. She was appointed as well as a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador on 9th of December 2016, committed to help the 250 million children living in conflict areas. On 19th of October 2001, Casta gave birth to her daughter, whose father is the photographer Stéphane Sednaoui. Casta was engaged to Italian actor Stefano Accorsi. The couple have 2 children. In June 2017, Casta married her boyfriend of 2 years, French actor Louis Garrel. On 17th of March 2021, Casta gave birth to her 4th child, the couple's first. Leticia has 1/4 Italian ancestry from her father as well. In the February issue of Glamour in 2015, Leticia shares her thoughts on why the supermodel rebelled against Victoria's Secret. Working for Victoria's Secret is seen as the holy grail of modeling amongst some circles. Grown women have been known to cry when they were made an angel. For others, walking in its show is a lifetime ambition. Its star girls are among some of the most desirable and healthy women in the world. But for French supermodel turned actress Laetitia Casta, it wasn't enough. She was 18 when she started working for the brand in 1998, but claims she was forced to leave after the label made her a piece of meat and failed to let her voice her views on the world. I thought I was lucky that there were interesting people to work with, she told Glamour of her initial period of working with the company. They kicked me out. I was too much of a rebel. They would ask me which photographers they should work with, and I suggested a woman. That was interesting. Then they started asking me to be a piece of meat, and I said bye-bye. It became not about beauty but about sex. It was soft porn. I didn't want to be just an object, so I went away. They asked me to do interviews and I tried to say what I believed in, and they kicked me out in a way. They said, "You can't do that." I remember being asked what my dream was for Christmas, and I'm sorry, I didn't want Victoria's Secret underwear, so they kicked me out. I was too much of a rebel. Victoria's Secret declined to comment when approached by Glamour. However, Casta's exit from the brand didn't negatively impact her career, and she has worked for L'Oreal, Guess, Vivienne Westwood, Chanel, Jean Paul Gaultier, Louis Vuitton, Dolce & Gabbana, and Yves Saint Laurent, the latter of whom taught her a lot about what it meant to be a great model. Saint Laurent said to me once, "I hate models," and I didn't know what he meant, but now I do, she said. He wanted models to be real women, being cultivated, fighting for what I believe in, and giving a point of view. He was an artist, very sensitive and fragile, but also very strong at the same time, like a mixture of the angel and devil. He was such a visionary and so engaged with what he was doing. You only meet a person like that once in your life. In her modeling peak in the 90s, she was seen to imbue a natural rare beauty. Westwood once famously said, "I don't believe in God, but I might change my mind when I see Laetitia Casta." In 1999, she followed in the footsteps of Brigitte Bardot and Catherine Deneuve and was as the new model for Marianne, the national emblem of France. But when she was at her most famous, she quit modeling and went into acting, one of her proudest moments. "This was my liberty," she said. "I needed to be honest with myself. I never asked to be a model. I never wanted to be one. I would say, who are who are you actually dressing on the street? If you think women look like that, you don't know what's going on." So that's my first fight. I had to make them accept me. She went on to appear in films such as Gainsborough, in which she played model and actress turned animal rights activist Brigitte Bardot, whom she spoke to on the phone. "I didn't know she was so shy," said Casta. "Things weren't easy for her. She was treated like meat, just a sex symbol. She was not treated like a woman anymore, and I related to her. She told me she still liked humans, but I understand why she turned to animals instead." Casta says the key to modeling success is having a point of view and a personality, two things she has in spades. She has recently written a film script, although can't divulge too much as it's a personal subject, and has a television film about a French singer called Arletty, who was imprisoned for having a relationship with a German Luftwaffe officer when France was under occupation. She hopes to get her driver's license at some stage too. Last month, she was also enlisted by luxury drink brand Cointreau as its creative director, helping the company bring young artists to the fore. "It's nice to use a luxe house not just for capitalism and superficiality, but for creativity too," she said. "It's like finding a rare diamond." She has three children who are 13, 8 and 5, but she worries about their future in light of January's Charlie Hebdo shootings. "Everyone should be able to express themselves, and you shouldn't be killed if you do. But we are responsible for that," she said. "When you let people come to our country and then leave them alone, what's going to build their anger? So you put them in prison, then they'll get more angry. It's a war of religion. I feel like we're going back. I'm not sure I want to have a child in this world. It's fucking scary. If you think too much about these things, you don't want to be here." But thankfully, Laetitia Casta is here rebelling against conformity and speaking out about what she believes in, and she has a lot to do before we imagine she'll feel anywhere near done. In another article in the August issue of Daily Mail 2013, the supermodel and actress Laetitia Casta tells the newspaper that perfection is boring. To us mere mortals, supermodel and actress Laetitia Casta is the epitome of beauty, but as she tells Jane Gordon, it's the tiny imperfections that make a woman truly stand out. It would be difficult to imagine anyone who could live up to Domenico Dolce and Stefano Gabbana's vision of the perfect embodiment of all the incarnations of the quintessential Dolce & Gabbana woman. But this is how the designers describe 35-year-old model and actress Laetitia Casta, who they have. I don't like the idea of changing myself for the industry. It's those tiny little imperfections like my teeth that make a model stand out. They have chosen to embody their new fragrance intense, which evokes a potent force, a power of passion that is voluptuous in its intensity that lies deep with the soul of the Dolce& Gabbana woman. Before I met Leticia in a burgundy velvet-lined room above the showroom of the Dolce& Gabbana store on the Avenue Montaigne in Paris, this description struck my English ears as a trivial exaggeration, but half an hour after coming face to décolletage with Leticia, who is well over 6 foot in her perilocious high scarlet shoes, I realized that the designer's words were actually rather understated, because they failed to mention so many other aspects of Letitia's character that emerged during what turns out to be an unexpectedly arresting, funny, and sometimes intimidating interview. Letitia talks in a virtually fluent but strongly accented English that is occasionally punctuated by a French expression or a rare but charming grammatical mistake. At one point, for example, she says, "The limit is the sky." My first few warm up questions produce polite, rather bored answers, and it isn't until I ask her about motherhood that she comes alive. It is when I'm working that the real me comes out. That is when I'm the most real and honest. When I ask her about the work life balance of being a mother, she has an 11-year-old daughter from a previous relationship and a 6-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl with her fiance, the Italian actor Stefano Accorsi. I encountered the potent force that Leticia not only embodies but also exudes. The air around us is thick with the undeniably sensuous aroma of intense. I love my children, but I don't want to talk about them because I'm not just a mother. I don't understand why women journalists always ask me about motherhood and women. It's far more important and interesting for women to talk about their work, their thoughts, their creativity, and their individual identity, because it is when I'm working that the real me comes out. That is when I'm the most real and honest. When I'm acting a role in a film or working with Dolce& Gabbana this fragrance, I give my whole being. I would give my blood for Domenico and Stefano, she says in a rather unnerving way. I try to defend my question by saying that many you readers are also working mothers and interested in the subject of how other women cope with the demands of their career and the responsibilities of motherhood, but she doesn't let me off the hook. If I was a man, would you say to me, "You are a father, let's talk about that"? How do you cope having a successful career as well as being a father? How do you find time to spend with your children? Of course you wouldn't. Men never get asked those questions. What is interesting about me isn't that I'm a mother, it's who I am. I love my family, but if I just talk to you about being a mother, it's boring. I'm sorry, but it's reducing who I really am, and it's really boring. She says, and I feel both chastened and boring. I sense Letitia has a very low boredom threshold, but she is, of course, right in stating that her career is more interesting than her domestic life. Born in her mother's native Normandy, Letitia is the middle child of three. She has an older brother, Jean Baptiste, and a younger sister, Marie-Ange, now also a successful model. Childhood family holidays were spent in the town of Lumio on the island of Corsica, her father's birthplace. It was on a beach near Lumio that a model agent spotted Leticia, then aged just 15. The teenager, with her father's consent, embarked on a career that would make her one of the world's leading models. Within months of being scouted, she was chosen to be the new guest girl a role that launched the career of a clutch of models, most famously Claudia Schiffer, working first in Paris, then moving on to conquer New York. Letitia's success was attributed not just to her natural beauty but also to her confidence and her refusal, unlike other models at the time, to be molded and given what she calls American teeth. I didn't like the idea of changing myself for the industry. I felt to have my teeth straightened and bleached and to starve myself to change my body was not respecting who I was. Anyway, it's those tiny little imperfections like my teeth that make a model stand out. Perfection is boring, she says, smiling to reveal the crowded top row of her slightly crooked trademark teeth. By 19, she was the supermodel of her day, becoming an elite Victoria's Secret angel and prompting Vivienne Westwood to comment, "I don't believe in God, but when I see Leticia, I might change my mind." During her modeling years, she appeared on over 100 magazine covers, the most famous and controversial being her naked pose for Rolling Stone in 1998 when she was named the hottest woman in the world. Letitia's career changed course when she had her first child at 23. She has said that having a baby was her dream, and she moved seamlessly from model to actress with roles in French films and TV series. In 2000, she was chosen to follow in the footsteps of Brigitte Bardot and Catherine Deneuve as the new model for Marianne, the national emblem of France, for the statues that are placed in front of town halls and law courts throughout the country. She was later criticized as unpatriotic when she was accused of living in London to avoid the high French taxes. Now firmly based in Paris, Leticia is an established actress in France and last year appeared in her first American movie playing Richard Gere's mistress in Arbitrage. Her most critically acclaimed role to date was her portrayal of the young Brigitte Bardot in the 2010 French film Gainsborough, A Heroic Life. Brigitte and I talked and she gave me advice. She told me how she would walk into a restaurant with her head held up high, putting all her energy into herself, thinking, "Fuck everyone else in this room, I'm Brigitte Bardot." I did exactly that in one scene in the film. More recently, she was the female lead in Tide, Une Histoire d'amour, inspired by the true story of the 2005 murder of French multimillionaire Edward Stern, played by Belgian actor Benoit Poelvoorde, by his mistress Cécile Brossard, played by Leticia. One British critic described the film as a French 50 Shades of Grey. "Oh oui, it's a movie masochiste," she says. "In French, the H is not silent as it is in English." Shrugging her shoulders before adding, "I know of 50 Shades of Grey, but I'm trying to understand why you compare it to Tide." Too nervous by now to attempt to explain the similarities and the relationship between the lovers in the book and the film, for example, in one scene in Tide, set in a restaurant, a waitress asks Letitia's character how she would like her steak, and her rich dominant lover answers, "She will have it raw. Isn't that how bitches like it?" I let Leticia continue. "The film is about how far you go for love. For an actress, it's really interesting to portray a woman who is drawn to this kind of love, which is abusive and destructive, but also passionate," she says a little defensively. The film was not well received by French critics. But she brightens up when I mention her portrayal of Rihanna's lesbian love interest in the video of the song Te Amo, I Love You. Rihanna cast me for the video as a man would. She is really strong and kind of wild, and I had fun working with her. She's very cute, but she's very powerful and creative in her world. The director took me aside and said that I had to be very strong, but I've never seen other women as competition, so we were very supportive of each other. We were like equals and we laughed a lot. She says of the video, in which both women seem to compete for the attention of the camera in increasingly provocative poses and costumes. Leticia is equally enthusiastic, talking about how thrilled she was when Domenico and Stefano asked her to be the embodiment of intense. She was their choice for their previous fragrance, Pure Femme, too. The campaign for the fragrance was shot by Mario Testino, who had also worked with Leticia on Pure Femme. Mario, he loves women. He wants to bring out your sensuality and passion, and when he shoots, you just feel amazing, so feminine, so sexual, she says, somehow managing to cross her legs in those skyscraper scarlet shoes. She tells me she chose them to contrast with her blue lace dress because they made her feel so sexy, so much a diva. Leticia is a strange mix of outrageous femme fatale, dressing you can't help but observe in a way that is intended to mesmerize men, and an openly committed feminist. I am very much on the side of women. Since I was a child, I was aware that it's very difficult to be a woman. We are judged, and we judge ourselves on how we look, not who we are or what we have achieved. I notice it with my children, even as very little girls. They look at themselves and worry about being pretty enough. It's very bad. I think you have to be tougher bringing up girls because you have to make them understand that they have to be strong and push themselves if they want to be successful in a world that men still dominate. How can women do that if the only thing that concerns them is how they look? A group of 50 women in a room can be very acid because they are judging each other only on who is the tiniest, who is the prettiest. For boys, life is easier because they see their fathers who value what they have achieved in business, sport, intellect, and so on, way above their faces and their figures. So if you have 50 men in a room, they will be making jokes, offering opinions, and talking about their achievements. Of course, they compete, but in a less overt and narrow way. They have a healthier attitude to their fellow men. They have a brotherhood and they support each other. Women must learn to be like that too, says Leticia. There is no doubt that she is sincere in this view, but then she has the advantage of possessing such great natural beauty that, unlike most other women, she has never had to worry about how she looks. Dressed as she is today, you might imagine she was sexually competitive, but as she points out, this is work, and privately she hardly ever wears makeup and is more comfortable in jeans and flat pumps. Sharp, darkly funny, and honest, her reaction when I ask if she worries about aging is an instant and refreshing squeal of "ah oui." Emboldened by this and several other revealing comments, I risk bringing up her family life again by asking if there will be more babies. I think I did my job with 3 children, and when I meet women who don't have children, I just want to be them because they have such open minds, such freedom, and I would love that, she responds. There have been rumors recently that she and her fiance have married, and I cautiously ask her to confirm whether this is true. None, she replies, adding with a laugh, I'm not married because I just want to get married one time. When I comment, this sounds as if she has yet to find the right man, she grins. Well, you never know in life. I like the idea of being open, and how I get older, I get wilder. I'm a rebel. I'm contrary, she says. So who knows what I would do next. Leticia is the face of the new Dolce & Gabbana Intense fragrance, now available exclusively in Harrods and nationwide. And I'd like to share with you guys some of Laetitia Casta's famous quotes. It is when I'm working that the real me comes out. That is when I'm the most real and honest. I don't like the idea of changing myself for the industry. I failed to have my teeth straightened and bleached, and to starve myself to change my body was not respecting who I was. And there is a beautiful thing which is wonderful, To look like a woman, not a green bean. It's always fun to immerse yourself in a different time period. I want to work on interesting parts that I can believe in. Working with kids can be tricky because they can be pretty unpredictable. Real beauty is to be true to oneself. That's what makes me feel good. Thank you for watching, guys, and I hope you have liked this video and the story of the life and career of Laetitia Casta. Please comment down below what your thoughts on her is. Thank you. Bye.